Let me pull this story we got from Timcast.com. Poll finds Republicans and independents would stay and fight if America was invaded. Democrats say they would flee. I know this guy, and he was tweeting up a storm during 2020 about how Trump was evil and Trump was bad. And do you know what he did right after the election?
Nothing.
He moved to Europe.
Oh.
And I'm just like, this dude votes for Joe Biden, and then within a couple months, the ship is sinking, gas prices, all these problems, and he's gone. And here I am sitting here holding the bag, and I just feel like, yo, these people are evil, right? It's the banality of evil. It's not diabolical evil. It is, what neutral evil, I guess you'd call it. It is indifference as they watch things crumble around them. Yeah. They say, I'm going to vote for Biden because I want to signal to everybody how virtuous I am, but I'm gone the moment he gets elected. I'm going to go live somewhere else because we know how bad it's going to get. And there they go. They go off.
I mean, it's funny they say they would flee because the same people who were like, when Trump would go, I'm moving to Canada. None of them did.
Yeah.
None of them did. And the funniest part is we were living in Canada at the time. We go, that's rich that you all think you can just come here. It's this weird American exceptionalism where you guys think you can just go anywhere.
We can.
Bill Clinton did it during Vietnam.
But with Trump, things were good. Yeah. So when Trump got elected, these celebrities were like, well, my 401k is doing well, my bank account's doing well, I'm getting more work, I'm okay. When Biden hits and everything starts going bad, they're like, I'm going to get out of here because things are falling apart. And it's their fault.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I would not vote for Europe.
These people say, the majority of Democrats said they would flee if the U.S. got attacked. And that's a crazy thought. That these people are helping steer the ship we're on, but they have no problem admitting they would jump overboard the sign of any conflict or turmoil, leave us holding that bag.
Yeah.
Oh, I just said that Clinton fled to Canada during Vietnam. I think that he just sought and received deferments to avoid combat, being sent to the jungle. Good job, Bill. I don't know if he actually went to Canada or not.
Well, Canada, that was different. At the time, Canada actually did take people who wanted to not go to Vietnam, I think. But if you tried to get into Canada during Trump,
I'd be worse than gone. I would, I'd have both uniforms in my backpack, and then whoever was winning that particular battle.
Yeah, there's no way I would do everything I could to not get sent to go to the meat grinder in the jungle.
I don't think I'd be fighting any wars.
Well, Vietnam I get, but what would happen right now? You find patriots. If America got invaded, would you be on the front line defending America?
No,
I'd be on the front line of Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah, I'd be on the front lines of a gender reassignment surgery, misdoubtfiring my way out of this war.
You're in America now, all right? You are suckling the bosom of this country. You will stand.
What's the reverse of suckling the bosom?
Whoa.
Funding your social programs.
We're being held by the ankles and just shaken.
Out of your mind? Yeah.
Well, the taxes are higher in Canada.
New York City?
Paying for your IRS.
No.
Keeping
New York
Blink
City
Fitness
has higher
in
taxes
business
than anywhere in Canada, and we don't get free health care.
Yeah, I assure you that I'm not suckling off the teat.
You do. Bosom, I said. You do.
And to answer your question, yeah, if Uncle Sam came knocked on my door, they're like, listen, you got to join the battalion. I'll go, yeah, meet you there.
Do you need a jester?
You're saying you don't get health care in New York. But you do get rat kings. You know the rat kings?
I do know what I tried to write in a rat. So I did this movie. Remember Rob Ford?
Yeah.
The mayor of Toronto. So
Yes.
I made this movie about Rob Ford. I wrote it.
He's the guy who's doing drugs, right?
He was smoking crack. And I tried to write in a rat king into the movie.
What the heck?
Rat king.
Tell me about this Rat King thing. What is that?
It's basically it's a bunch of rats, and then their tails get all matted with like mud and dirt, and then they all get stuck together, and then they essentially become it's like a hive mind thing where because now their tails are all stuck together,
gross.
so they have to move in unison because otherwise they're all pulling. So they're all there. It's called the Rat King,
And they move together?
Well, they have to, otherwise, how do you get anywhere?
Wow. Does one of them take over as the brain?
I don't know. I think it's like a symbiotic. Like they all.
It's like a Ouija board, you know?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like a Ouija board.
It's like a corporation for rats.
Yeah, kind of exactly.
This crazy, dude. I don't know. Is it real though? Because some people have said that it's like an urban legend. Oh, I guess there you go. Bizarre.
It does look man-made.
Tied together in a rare rat king phenomenon.
Synthetic rat kings?
Tails
I don't know.
There's rats everywhere in New York.
That one, the medium one,
Good
top
eating.
left, second top left. That looks real.
Why on
This
Wikipedia does it say historically this phenomenon is particularly associated with Germany? Why does it say that on Wikipedia? It's in the first paragraph on Wikipedia.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe they had
You're
more
saying that's
stories about
4chan
it.
getting in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, what the heck?
That's weird.
Maybe Germany has rat kings.
I mean, but you're saying New York City. Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Germany
squirrels do the same thing.
Oh, interesting.
Squirrel King just doesn't have a good.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll off the top.
Have you ever seen a squirrel?
Well, they do once you put them in your rectum, they get
Oh
tangled.
my gosh. What the
It's a family-friendly
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Have you ever seen a squirrel rat
Squirrel.
That was a medical
squirrel.
procedure. That was medical.
What is it?
So they're not real, but I was in New York. I was in Central Park, and I saw it was a genetic. It was like a chimeric squirrel. Something happened to it where its tail, part of it didn't have fur, and part of it didn't have like poof. It was partly albino.
It's like a mange.
So like no, it was like half albino squirrel, and so it looked half rat and half squirrel. But they can't procreate, so it's not a real thing, a squirrel rat, but people think they are because they'll see these mutant squirrels with like less hair on one side, and they think it's like a mutant, like a hybrid.
Huh.
Unless
But
they really
yeah,
are.
it's just they're ill and diseased, right?
No, it could just be a genetic thing.
Yeah, it's just like a genetic
chimeric,
mutation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are aggressive in New York.
Oh yeah.
The rats?
dude. Squirrels.
And the homeless.
Yeah, the squirrels. I used
Bro.
to feed them, and they'd come up, and then every once in a while you get one that would just grab the bag of nuts and run.
and
you're like, "Come on."
pigeons, you can hold out your hand, and the pigeons will jump on you. You can walk up to a pigeon in New York and hold out food; it'll jump into your hand and start eating.
Yeah, they don't have any. They're not afraid. Like
And then what you do is you grab its
Sissy
feet,
pigeons
and it
over
can't
there.
get away, and then you take it home.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's gonna be sad that you said that.
Yeah.
He
They
does
used to,
love
they used to
those
do that,
pigeons.
right?
What's that?
I think it was the passenger pigeon? Was it?
That's the extinct one now.
Yeah, in New York, they would like go out with a net and just catch pigeon and eat them.
Yep.
Oh.
That's what
Could you
they're doing.
imagine living that way?
Yeah.
Like going out in New York and putting up a rat trap and being like, "Woo, we got some meat tonight."
I mean,
It's crazy, right?
That's what they do.
It's-
That's the North Korean camps or whatever. They
Yeah.
put them in the labor camps. That's a delicacy. You should be so lucky to catch a pigeon.
People don't realize when we
I
say
mean, when
you
you're
will-
eating all your bunker food, that's what me and Ryan are going to be eating in New York City.
Rat kings. Woo.
We're going to be literally be like, let's find us a pigeon and eat it.
When you
I wish we bought some of those bunker supplies.
when he's feasting on that sweet compacted granola.
Yeah.
rice and beans. Yeah, just rice and beans.
Can you
last for
plant-
30
You
years.
got the Trinidad
So
pack.
we're gonna be sitting there.
The bunker mon.
and yo, we got chili powder and paprika, and we're gonna be sitting there, and we're gonna be dancing and like
Yeah.
eating rice and beans, and you guys are gonna be munching on rat, and you're gonna be like, Tim was right the whole time.
We're gonna be
Our hair is
munching
going to
on
be
rat.
falling out from the radiation.
Speaking Russian and Chinese, a mix. Russianese.
This says that
Russian.
you can plant dry beans from the grocery store. I never thoroughly thought that through, but that's awesome. You can eat them or plant them.
We just
Now you're just rubbing it in.
Yeah.
So now you have a garden.
Basically,
Well, we
what
just-
he's
we
saying
just-
is an endless supply of beans.
we got a lot of beans.
We can eat Danny's crypto portfolio.
Yeah, that's going to be very useful in the end of times.
It's crazy to think, if you go to certain higher end restaurants, they're often out of things because they're hard to come by. And
Every time I go there and ask for a hot dog, they're always out of it.
well, there's a steakhouse nearby, and it's like they were out of certain steak. They're like, oh, we don't have this meat, we don't have that meat. It's hard to get. It's really expensive. The prices are going up.
You can't afford it.
But we're so luxurious in the United States that we don't even think twice about going into a local diner and saying, for breakfast, I want like a top sirloin with scrambled eggs. And they're like, yup, no problem. And there are countries where it's like getting protein is unheard of.
yeah.
So it's just so, like, Americans are
just
so
getting
stressed.
Totally. That's like you
West
get that
is.
for $10. Yeah.
And that's why they keep saying you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, because they're like, time to eat some bugs, dude. And for me,
Well, I mean, for most people, they do own nothing. So that won't change very much. But I
but
mean,
you own
there's
food,
an
dude.
idea of, 15 years ago, people used to own houses. People
Right.
don't really own houses anymore.
But this is
They're young.
because we've been taken over by oligarchs. No, for real. So I talk about wealth inequality every so often because I think it's a big problem. And there's, it's a very common trope on the right where it's like relatively dismissive of it. It's not an issue. It doesn't come up as often.
Yeah.
But when you have a small handful of ultra wealthy elites, what they do is, like almost every time, is they buy up as much property as they can because property is mandatory.
Well, that's happening now. Yeah.
Exactly. So when I visited Ukraine, we saw this.
It's the new rush.
I was looking at lofts in Ukraine in like 2013, and the prices were comparable to like a house in America. And I asked my Ukrainian friend, how is that possible? And she was like, it's a bunch of billionaire oligarchs who own
They own
everything.
everything.
Yeah, they just have,
And
to
they
park,
tr-
they have to park their money just all over the world.
And so they trade amongst each other, but I was told, but the rent is only like $50 a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it's a 300.
So they take hits on them.
No, not really. It's like the building shouldn't
would
be
have
worth that
to.
well, they
much.
just want to own the asset. They don't
Right.
care about the
And-
cash
and
flow.
No, I'm just saying that. Well, that's what I meant by take
And
hit,
only-
however you want to look at it. If you're,
Only
you're
other-
paying more than
only other oligarchs can buy it. So they just talk amongst themselves like, oh yeah, it's 300. You want it? Okay, fine. And then foreign investors. That's the other thing too. The oligarchs know we'll put the price comparable to the West because Westerners who want to get property in here will have to pay it.
Yeah.
We own it all. It's ours.
Yeah.
And it's happening now with these companies buying up
I mean, New York City
Police houses.
has tons of like some of the most expensive properties are owned by Russian oligarchs.
Wow.
But you're right, that is-
Yeah. There's a lot. There's like I've been seeing stuff where a bunch of these places are going up for sale because like Roman Abramovich, he's like one of the big ones, and he's selling. He owns Chelsea. He's been like the big owner of Chelsea, and he's like, I have to sell it. He's selling Chelsea because of all this whole war.
Wow.
He's just like, I have to get rid of it. I can't keep it. And, he's
And who
selling
can buy it?
Oh, someone will buy it. Oh.
BlackRock.
Big firm.
BlackRock will take out $100 billion loan and then buy.
Oh no,
that'll
houses. There'll be a lineup to buy that.
How-
There's no shortage of American billionaires. Like,
I don't get it how a company can take out a billion dollar loan of funny money and then just own now the property's theirs because the funny money said so. Like, I don't believe the funny money.
What do you mean?
Like, they take out Federal Reserve loans, which is just basically fiat, fake money. It's faith-based money. And then they buy
They can take
hard
federal,
assets.
They do
Yes.
Federal Reserve.
I don't think they
loans to
take
buy-
it directly from the Fed. They take it from a bank that took it from the Fed.
Yeah, but they take it. They don't take it at 0%.
I don't know.
No,
BlackRock.
no, not at 0%.
But Ian,
I
this
doubt
is how
it's a
banking
0%.
works.
I mean,
But
that's
they
like you're
buy
describing
assets.
a mortgage.
This is how
Which
banking
inflate
works.
immediately.
This is how banking works.
It's crazy.
When I swipe my credit card, the money just blinks into existence, and then I got
It's
to pay
nuts.
it.
And these big companies have so much assets to take loans out on that they can take huge loans out and then buy the
Absolutely.
assets
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then sell
Oh, for
them
sure.
back next year for double the price.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is just based on the fact that the U.S. You can only do this in America.
Yeah, it's funny money. It's the federal fiat currency. So how?
And they know it. Dude.
What?
They're
Yeah,
getting
well,
ready.
it's. I mean, like, look, you can take. You guys had your cash out earlier. Like, you can take that cash and go spend that in any city in the world, pretty much, other than the ones like North Korea where it's illegal or whatever. You can't do that with any other currency.
Right.
Right. Like, you go anywhere on this planet and say, "Here's a $5 American bill." They go, "Yeah, that's as good as anything."
You're saying I can't go, pay
they're-
my tab in
but-
London with an Ethiopian franc.
Go try and pay it with a $20 Canadian bill and just the look they're going to give
So-
you in Europe.
Yeah.
So here's what happens because
They're gonna,
I've
go get some
been
American money. Like,
I've traveled to maybe like 35 to 40 countries, and I've asked this a lot. And the response I usually get, like when I go to Morocco, and I'm like, "Will you take U.S. dollars?" They'll go, "Okay, I guess," because they got to go exchange it. But they're like, "Fine, I'll take it." You do the opposite. You get like, a Bolivar Fuerte from Venezuela in your garbage bag, and you bring it to a Dunkin' Donuts, and you slam 300 pounds of cash to buy one donut, and they're like, "Sir, get out of here! What are you doing? We're calling the cops." They won't. It's just toilet paper to them.
Depends on where, yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna, bro. When I came back from Venezuela, we had big garbage bags of cash, and so
Did you really bring them?
We didn't bring the full garbage bags, but we had massive stacks.
Take them to the strip club?
No, we just I turned the cash in. It was
go
it
go
was,
Usher style.
Yo, check it out.
Usher bucks.
No, you bring the gun with the with the Venezuela.
They give us petty cash when you're working for Vice to spend on day-to-day
All
stuff,
cash is
right?
petty to me.
Sure. So when we arrived in Venezuela, I'm like, "How do we do it?" And they're like, "You can't. It's illegal. You can't do." The official exchange rate was like $1 was $7, but they were like, "That's insane," because it's actually like 70. So a guy smuggled in
So
money.
you need 70 bills per dollar.
Yeah, something like that. So we had garbage bags filled with money, and we'd have to pull out huge stacks and literally pay at a restaurant like,
Nuts.
like
Yeah,
there
it's
you go.
crazy in that hyperinflationary environment too, because those people, there's no such thing as savings. It's like you have to spend the money instantly.
It's happening
the
now,
moment
man.
you get it.
Well,
it's
that's
like
why you
spend
gotta have it on swords.
Yeah, well, but honestly, but the moment because tomorrow that loaf of bread is like
Have you-
5 stacks of money instead of 4 stacks of money.
Have you guys been watching Sword Futures? Yeah, Sword Futures
Limit up.
through the roof. I
see
bought like
that-
4 or 5 swords. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.